Let's get weird for a moment. What if I told you there's an experience so profound it defies description? A state of being so intense, it makes everyday life feel dull in comparison. And yet, despite its elusiveness, thousands of people around the world, from the heart of the Amazon jungle to the boardrooms of Silicon Valley, they're chasing it, seeking it out, willing to do whatever it takes to have just one taste of this extraordinary phenomenon. I know it sounds like the plot of a new age fantasy or a psychedelic adventure, but I'm talking about something real, something measurable, something scientists can detect with brain scans. I'm talking about ego death. Now, before we dive in, I want to clear up a potential misconception. Ego death isn't about losing your identity or becoming someone else. It's not about joining a cult or changing your personality. Rather, it's about stripping away the layers of self-protective mechanisms we build up over the years, the fears, the insecurities, the judgments, the endless chatter of the mind that tells us who we are. When those barriers are dissolved, what remains is something closer to our true essence, a sense of interconnectedness with everything around us. It's a loss of self, yes, but in doing so, it's also a homecoming, a return to a state of being that many describe as pure, as love, as peace, as simply existing. So why would anyone want to lose their sense of self? Why do monks, mystics, psychonauts, and even CEOs all talk about ego death like it's the holy grail of inner experience? Well, here's the thing. In today's hyper-individualistic culture, we tend to measure success by how loud our ego can roar, by how much stuff we own, by how many followers we have. We re-encourage to think of ourselves as brands to be constantly polished and projected outwards for the world to consume. But the problem with this constant noise is that it's exhausting. It leaves us feeling isolated, anxious, and disconnected, even though we're surrounded by people. That's where ego death comes in. It offers us a temporary escape from the noise, a chance to rest. But it's more than just a break, it's a reset. You see, when we're in ego death, we're no longer trapped inside our own heads. We're no longer judging ourselves or everyone around us. We're simply present, aware of the vastness of existence and our place within it. In that moment, we realize that we're not our thoughts, that we're not our possessions, that we're not even our bodies. We're something much vaster, something eternal. And while this might sound terrifying to some, like a loss of identity, for many it's actually the opposite. They find a truer sense of themselves, free from the baggage of their past, free from the expectations of society, free from the limitations of their own minds. But ego death isn't just a feel-good experience. It has real-world applications. Many people who have had near-death experiences or who have meditated extensively report feeling less anxious, less depressed, and more resilient to stress. Some even say that it gives them superpowers, a heightened awareness of the world around them, an ability to connect with others on a deeper level. It's not surprising then that more and more people are seeking out these experiences, whether through meditation, psychedelics, or other means. They're looking for a way to wake up from the dream of the ego, to shed the skin of their old selves and become something new. Now, ego death is a hot topic in various circles. In the spiritual community, it's often discussed as a path to enlightenment or a higher consciousness. Psychonauts talk about it in hushed tones as a gateway to other realities. But the scientific community is also taking notice. Neuroscientists have discovered that ego death can be induced intentionally through practices like meditation or by altering brain chemistry through psychedelics. And they're finding that it's not just a mystical experience, it's a measurable one. Using brain scans, they've identified distinct patterns of activity during ego death, specifically in the default mode network, which is the part of the brain that becomes active when our minds wander to the self. During ego death, that network goes quiet, reflecting the dissolution of the sense of self. But here's where things get interesting. Ego death isn't just about what happens in your brain, it's also about what happens in your body. Some people experience a tingling sensation. Others feel tears streaming down their face. Many feel an overwhelming urge to dance or move in ways they never have before. It's almost as if the body knows how to celebrate the death of the ego, to express the joy of liberation. And the beauty of this is that it doesn't require any special equipment to experience. It can happen anywhere, anytime, with or without the help of technology. All it requires is a willingness to let go, to surrender to the process, and trust that you will be okay on the other side. Now, I'm not going to lie and say it's easy. Ego death can be as terrifying as it is liberating. It can bring up all sorts of uncomfortable feelings and thoughts, which is why it's important to approach it with care and intention. But the rewards can be immense. It can lead to a profound sense of inner peace, a deeper connection with others, and a more vibrant appreciation for life. And let me tell you, I know what I'm talking about. I've had many ego death experiences myself. I remember the first time it happened to me. I was sitting in a silent retreat and I closed my eyes to meditate. And suddenly, I didn't know where I ended, and the universe began. I could hear the blood rushing through my veins, the wind outside, the birds singing, and I could feel the sun warming my skin. It was the most peaceful moment of my life. I could have stayed there forever. But then I opened my eyes, and I had to leave. But that experience changed me. It made me realize that we're all connected, that we're all part of something bigger than ourselves. It gave me a sense of purpose, a reason to keep going even when things were tough. Ego death is not about escaping from life. It's about returning to it with a fresh perspective, a softer heart, and a clearer mind. It's not something that needs to be forced or faked. It happens naturally when we let go of our attachment to the ego, when we stop fighting the present moment and start embracing it wholeheartedly. Here's a story that illustrates this perfectly. I met Sarah, a high-powered executive who had it all: a corner office, a fat paycheck, a beautiful family. But she was burnt out, exhausted, and felt like she was just going through the motions in life. She couldn't remember the last time she felt truly happy or at peace. So she decided to try meditation. She started small, just 5 minutes a day. But soon she was spending hours in solitude, trying to quiet the endless chatter in her head. At first it was tough. Her mind raced from one thought to the next. She felt restless and irritable. But then something amazing happened. One morning during her meditation, she felt her sense of self melt away. She was no longer Sarah, the executive, no longer Sarah, the wife, the mother, the daughter. She was just Sarah, a being of pure awareness, connected to everything around her. It was the most peaceful moment of her life, she cried. Not from sadness, but from feeling whole, from feeling at one with the universe. When she emerged from her meditation, she was a different person. She was still Sarah, but she was also something more, something freer, something more open. She was no longer afraid of making mistakes or upsetting people. She was no longer afraid of losing herself, because she knew that she was more than her ego, more than her job, more than her status. She was a part of something eternal, something infinite, and that gave her the strength and the courage to live life on her own terms. The truth is, ego death is not just a mystical experience or a detour from reality. It's a homecoming, a return to our true nature, a reminder that we're all connected and that we're all part of something bigger than ourselves. It's not about vanishing forever. It's about seeing life without the filters of fear, shame, and endless self-judgment. It's about opening our hearts and minds to the possibility of something more, something beyond the limits of our ego. And if you want to dive deeper into this topic, I encourage you to stay tuned for the next episode, where we all discuss how to integrate these deep ego death experiences into your daily life and how they can make you a better friend, leader, creator, or just a happier human being.